Today's topic, the 5 most common pitfalls of new runners and how to avoid them. Thanks so much for tuning into Second Act TV. I am so happy to welcome Rashelle Brown back to the program today. Rashelle, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me again. I'm happy to be.
I'm really excited because, as you know, we are about to start the Second Act Virtual Running Club. And you, along with some other, friends and experts that I know, have given us great advice on how to get started. But really, one of the things, and you wrote this in your recent article that I saw, half of all runners who get started stop within the first year. We don't want to make that mistake. So what are per your article, the 5 pitfalls to avoid that new runners make? What's number 1?
I think the biggest one is don't run too far or too fast. When people want to start something, there's high motivation, which is great, but sometimes they can get a little bit carried away. So I tell people who are just starting out, really focus on keeping your run at a conversational pace. And with many, many people, that means there's more walking involved than there is running. And a walk run is fine. You're burning more calories than just walking. You're building fitness quicker than just walking. It's not as hard as it is if you just go out and run. Even what most people think of as a slow jog, the effort level is just a little bit too hard and they end up not liking it.
Yeah, and then you just start dreading it. Yeah, exactly. Your second point is, don't make your runs boring. How do we make them boring?
Yeah, mix it up. So, it's tough when I live in Minnesota, and so in the wintertime, a lot of times it's no fun to run outside. And so you go to a treadmill, but as often as I can, even though I'm a pretty fair weather runner, I try to get outside, even if it's just for a 10-minute run, on a day when it happens to be 30 degrees instead of 10 degrees or whatever. But certainly in the summer, people need to get off the treadmill and get outside and then spice up your route a little bit. Don't just stay in your same neighborhood, drive a few minutes to a park and try a run through there.
Yeah, I always say, that if you want time to stand still, get on a treadmill.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Just looking at that clock the whole time.
And sometimes, that's what you need to do. But, that's a great tip, is to get out there. There's so much to see, especially here in California. We don't have any excuses.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Which kind of brings us to another point, is the investing in your new sport. That's been a topic of conversation here lately. Tell us what you mean by that.
Yeah, so it's like anything. When you get started in something new, you want to have the right gear, and you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money, but you want to have a decent pair of shoes that fits you well. So you probably want to go to a running store and try on a few different pairs of shoes and have a knowledgeable person help you find the right fit for you, because wrong shoes can lead to injury. Certainly doesn't they can be uncomfortable when you're running, and that's not going to be encouraging. And then there are some of the fun things, GPS trackers or heart rate monitors, things that will help keep you motivated. And a lot of people who enjoy running are really into data. And so those types of gizmos really let you track, your distance and your pace and your heart rate. They're really fun tools. That's kind of a nice little carrot to have out there. Like, I'm gonna get one of these gizmos and take my running to the next level.
I can't even imagine running without my iPhone and with the apps anymore. I don't know how I ever did it before.
Yeah. And then that's a great option because everybody's got a phone, right? So you can just spend a couple dollars on an app, and then that can help track all those things for you as well.
We'll post some links to some of the more favorite or popular ones. And then you said, and I found this interesting, because I've never heard this, but tell yourself that you're only doing it for fitness. So you really, I know you like the psychological parts of exercising and staying motivated. Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, so fitness is probably the top reason to start running, and running is one of the best exercises you can do to improve your fitness and burn calories for weight loss. But if that's the only reason that you're doing it, and you just going out and it's kind of hard to measure whether you're making any traction there. You might start to feel a little bit better or notice that the runs are getting easier. But I find that if people have a specific goal in mind or an event that they've signed up for, that's a huge motivator. That's so much more motivating. If I know that I've got a race in 6 weeks, I'm going to be out there running 3 or 4 times a week to get ready for it. Whereas if I'm just, kind of vaguely trying to get in better shape, I might make my runs or I might not. It depends on how motivated I am. Some people aren't into the whole race scene, but it's really easy to create your own events. And like the Second Act virtual races that you're setting up is a perfect way for people who want to have that milestone to hit and that thing to shoot for without having to sign up, for a local race and set aside a whole morning on a specific day and that kind of thing.
No, I agree, and it's a great way to be part of a community. As virtual racing are a huge trend right now in running. It's really kind of fun, and gives you something else to aspire to. Plus, we have a really cool medal.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'll show it to you. And then, and that does bring us to like your last and final point is don't run by yourself, or don't always run by yourself.
Right. Yeah. I'm an introverted person, and so I really enjoy runs by myself. But it's really helpful when I do run with a group. For me, it helps a lot to keep the pace conversational. So if you can find a person who's at your same fitness level and you both have the same goals, you can help speed each other up or slow each other down wherever you're kind of at in your fitness. So that's useful. There are tons of running groups that you can join. Most of them are free or they're really low cost. You can do a virtual running group. It's just, there are lots of ways to interact with other people, and that kind of just adds that one more layer of accountability and a little bit more motivation than if you're always running by yourself.
Well, Rashelle, thank you so much for all those great tips. I think focusing on what not to do is just as important as what to do. So thank you for that. We will link to your article as well as to your site, Full Steam Fitness, and we'll see you soon on another episode of Second Act TV.
Thanks so much.
So glad you were able to join us today, and I hope that you found today's tips helpful. Make sure you check out our new virtual running club. There's a link to it right here on the screen. And make sure you also subscribe to our program. Here's the button.